Okay, so it's time to start the commute to work. I've been commuting by bicycle here in Japan for the last year. Every single day, rain, shine, typhoon even. Last week we had a typhoon and I was riding in it. Here's my bike. It's a carbon fiber Giant Revolt gravel bike. Pretty lightweight. Really nice bike. I love this thing. It's awesome. So I put like all my wallet and stuff in here. I put my phone right on here. I got lights going. I got my speedometer. Got rear lights. Got this trunk bag. Yeah, I'm actually getting ready for it to ship on the airplane with me. So I got this bike box from a local bike shop for free. Bought some insulation foam to wrap it up and secure it. Anyway, here we go. Oh, here's a Japanese e-bike we couldn't take with us because of the lithium battery. It's impossible to ship those things. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, today's actually my last day of work here in Japan. We have a flight in 5 days. So I told myself I was gonna make a bicycle commuting video because I think commuting by bicycle in Japan is just so awesome. Just nothing like in America. I used to commute the last 3 months before, like as preparation to go to Japan and commuting. I would bicycle to my work 10 miles. So my commute here in Japan is 7 miles, so it's shorter, but it takes just as much time. There's a lot more lights and stuff in Japan, but the commuting experience is just so different, and that's what I kind of wanted to go over. We got farmland here by our house, just farmland everywhere. It's so cool. Like any spare plot of land, the Japanese will plant it. Oh, we're coming up to Vending Machine City here. So we call this place Vending Machine City. It's like a block from our house, and there's just vending machines. Any drink you want, you can have. 100 yen. A lot of them 100 yen, so like 70 cents US dollars. But yeah, that's fun. Hey, cat. Yeah, I feel like Japan is just made for bicycling, you know? Everyone's aware. In America, no one's looking for bicycles. Yeah, you're always worried you're gonna get hit. Here, before you turn, everyone looks like at the sidewalk. Hey, like every car driver looks at the sidewalk and is like, hey, is there gonna be a bicycle coming? Just because they're so ubiquitous here, they're everywhere. Everyone uses bicycles. There's like just as many bicycles as there are cars for sure. And people just use them to commute. Yeah, in America, bicycles are recreational vehicles. Here, they're not recreational. We actually got yelled at. We got a letter in our mailbox from an anonymous neighbor. We've been actually at the police called on us 4 or 5 times this year. One time, 4 p.m., we were having a party, barbecue in our backyard for, you know, the neighborhood, kind of like it was my son's 8th birthday. We ended the party by 7 p.m. but the police came at 6 p.m. saying we're too loud. I was just playing music off my iPhone and they said the music is too loud. So kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah, in the letter that was written to us by this anonymous neighbor, they're like, oh, you shouldn't be riding your bicycle for fun. They're for travel only. And it's dangerous to have these kids riding around the neighborhood on their bicycles. Anyway, so it's a different culture for sure, especially surrounding bicycles. Yeah, when I first started commuting by bicycle, this route from my house to work took me over an hour. I was taking my landlord's folding bike because I didn't buy any bicycles at the time and had them shipped to my house. And I was just like, oh, this is crazy. And I was talking to my boss about it. And the next day, he literally made me a slide-by-slide PowerPoint chart with turn-by-turn directions using screenshots for Google Maps for Google Maps Street View for every single turn on the best way to get from my house to my work. It's probably had like 40 slides with turns, and my commute immediately went from over an hour to around like 40 minutes. But I was just like, who spends 2 hours, a supervisor, my Japanese supervisor, doing that for someone, a new employee? But yeah, the Japanese are just kind of like that. They can like kill you with kindness sometimes, and it's just shocking, especially for an American, to witness that. I was just selling a couple of my e-bikes because I wanted to bring them home. My company would ship them for free back to New Jersey, but the lithium batteries are a big no-no for airline shipments or yeah. So anyway, I sold my bike. I met the guy at my house, and we're like, oh, in Japan, you have to register your bikes at a bike shop. It's like 600 yen, but it's like for anti-theft registration. All the police know whose bike is by who. There's no crime here in Japan. No one steals anything. But anyway, that's the case. And so we go from my house to Kynes, which is the local bike shop, and we register and we say our goodbyes. He gives me the money, And then I go home, and then 10 minutes later, I hear the doorbell ring, and I'm like, oh no, it's the same guy. He wants to return the bike. He doesn't like it. I don't know. But instead, he just hands me a box of donuts or muffins and says, thank you, and then leaves. I'm like, what? Who does that off like Craigslist, buys a bicycle, and then goes out of their way to buy you a dessert and then hand it to you? I mean, but that's just how Japan is. It's just like crazy with kindness and respect, and yeah, it's just a different culture. So I'm starting to get into the more city part of my commute. A lot of cars. It can seem unsafe, but all the drivers are watching for these bikers. What's interesting, you'll notice, is no one wears helmets in Japan. Oh, we're coming up to a railroad crossing, and the railroad's actually coming. But even if a train's not coming, cars have to stop, like a stop sign here. But yeah, it's interesting. People commute in all kinds of weather in Japan. 2 weeks ago, there was a big typhoon here, and I thought, there'd be no one on the streets. But, maybe there was definitely less bicyclers than normal, but there was a ton of people bicycling to work. Right now, it's, a light rain, and it's just as many people as normal because, not everyone has cars, and trains and bicycling is just a part of the culture. That's how you get around. And I think the reason why there's so little fat people in Japan, it's the exception to be fat here in Japan, and there's a fat man as I say that. But yeah, no, there's so many skinny people. I think it's just because people are uncomfortable. People sweat on their commute to work because they have to walk 10 miles or 5 miles, and I think that's a good thing. Be a little uncomfortable. So this is a dedicated biking lane actually, and it's really nice, nicely paved, and there's all these all over Japan. What's interesting about Japanese people is they always commute in really nice clothes. They'll commute in their suits, even by bicycle, or dress shirts or school uniforms. Even on the train, no one's wearing shorts. You never see anyone wearing shorts in Japan. Even in the 100-degree days, and Japan is hot. I liken it to probably like Georgia weather, maybe Florida weather. It's hot. And yeah, at least this area. So I'm like an hour south of Tokyo in Sagamihara Kanagawa. And yeah, it gets hot. But anyway, as I was saying, everyone's wearing a dress shirt, slacks, something like that, and they just commute that way. And I was talking to my one coworker, and I was shocked because we were in the locker room changing, and he comes in with his full suit, just like everyone else, or at least a dress shirt and slacks. And then he's changing into like coveralls, the work uniform at our work. And I'm just like, why did you ride the train and then walk this way in a suit only to change into coveralls? But that's what they all do. They have to commute in uniform or commute in dress clothes. Yeah, I show up in shorts and this t-shirt and everyone's just staring at me, but that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm comfortable at, contradicting myself there, comfortable in, because I'm sweating, I don't want to sweat in dress clothes, but that's their culture. And just so interesting. Yeah, so I went from like an hour and 20-minute commute that first day to now 30 minutes or even under 30 minutes. And part of that was, definitely those directions from my boss. That was such a good route, lessened the lights from like 20 lights to 6 lights on my commute now. I even made it to work one time with just green lights. That was a great day. I was working all year towards that goal of never hitting a red light and just have my wheels spinning the entire 7 miles to work. That was cool. That was a good day. But yeah, other things that helped was just getting better bikes. I got an e-bike, and that made me so much faster. I was getting to work around the 35-minute mark, and then I bought this carbon fiber gravel bike, and that just reduced everything. It's even a lot faster than the e-bike. The e-bike is heavy. It helps to go up hills, and it's like good for old people, but for someone athletic like me, I can really push this bike to go a lot faster. I get a lot more sweaty because I'm doing a lot more work, but I definitely choose the gravel bike without a battery or a carbon fiber bike without the battery over an e-bike, because that's just so much more enjoyable for me. Yeah, so just a lot of trial and error to go from an hour and 20 minutes to now under a 30-minute commute. But yeah, I just love bicycling in Japan. I'm really sorely gonna miss it, I know. I'll be commuting by bicycle back when I get to America, but it's not gonna be the same. I mean, I live in the countryside, so it's not so bad, but Yeah, and I know you might be thinking all Asian countries use bicycles. Japan's not that unique, but Japan is unique. Yeah, we went to Taiwan earlier this year and Korea earlier this year. There's not anything close to Japan in terms of its use of bicycles. In Taiwan, there's more scooters than cars. There are scooters everywhere. And in Korea, you just don't see as many bicycles. But here in Japan, everyone uses bicycles. You know, they commute to the train by bicycle. They just commute to work by bicycle. And, you know, all weather conditions. They'll wear their raincoats. They'll wear their ponchos. They have these weird things that go over the entire bicycle. It's kind of looks like an apron or something. I can show you, hopefully. Oh, here's a cool little underpass. Let's see if I can film it. Yeah, so there's just a lot of infrastructure that's all related to bicycling. Arigato. You know, like people in America would never build something like this just for bicycles to go under the railroad tracks. Yeah, what I especially love seeing is kids on bicycles in Japan, you know, being ridden by their parents because they'll have front mounts and rear mount car seats or bike seats for the kids to sit on. And everyone just commuting by bicycle, being dropped off to school by bikes. And I think it's just such a wholesome thing. Like in America, we're the only ones who I ever see doing that sort of stuff. So it's just nice to be here and just have it be accepted as the norm in the culture. Yeah, I was hoping we'd see some people walking to school, because in Japan too, kids walk themselves to school in little groups. They'll meet up at a corner and then walk themselves to school, which I think is also just so cool. I think I'm a little late on my commute today to kind of show you that, but I think, yeah, there's so much awesome aspects of this different culture. Here's the mom and her child right there. And yeah, just part of it. Bicycle parking everywhere. It's all just part of the infrastructure, you know, people just parking their bicycles everywhere you go. Well, that pretty much wraps up my commute to work. I'm pretty much here. I'll show you a little bit about how I changed into work clothes. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I have a lot of bicycle adventures. We did a 300-mile trip around Mount Fuji. Went to Izu, Hakone. Yeah, that was a cool bicycle trip. You should check that out. I have a lot of different bicycle adventures with the kids too. But yeah, let's show you what I do once I get to work. Yeah, so I just park my bike under this overhang and then head into work. Yeah, most people lock their bicycles, but most Japanese bikes, almost all Japanese bikes have like a built-in lock, right? A wheel lock. They're just so common on all vehicles, and that's usually what they do. I don't know, I think at work people probably, no, this one's locked. So sometimes right when I get to work, I'll just sit at my desk, turn on the desktop fan. It's just a USB plug-in fan. I'll put on one of these cool neck coolie things that I keep in the freezer and just start cooling down that way. Or I'll just go to the locker room and I have this nice fan here that's blow me down and cool me off. And then I got these two lockers, which has all my clothes, my dress shoes. So I'll just take everything off. I'll leave my boxers and my socks on, and I'll just change into that. And then I change into my dress clothes and I'm good to go. And then at the end of the day, I'll change back into these same clothes and just do one load of laundry, you know, rather than changing to all these different clothes. And that seems to work for me. I've done it the whole year here in Japan and it's worked out. One thing I want to mention is Japan has these mirrors everywhere and they are essential. So use them, use those mirrors. Thanks for joining me on my commute. If you enjoyed that, definitely check out my bike packing videos, my Japan adventure videos, and yeah, Godspeed. And don't forget to subscribe.